Tonight, we step softly into the ancient world, a place of quiet roads, moonlit stones, old stories, and distant memories. So settle in, let the room around you grow still, and let the night carry us gently into the past. Tonight, we return to ancient Rome, not to the noise of crowds, not to the bright heat of the day, not to speeches, markets, or hurried footsteps, but to Rome at night. A quieter Rome, a Rome of moonlight, stone paths, cool air, and distant lamps. A Rome where the old columns rest in shadow, where the hills rise gently around the city, where the river moves somewhere beyond the darkness, and where the stories of the ancient world become soft enough to drift through. So as you settle in, let the room around you grow still. Let your shoulders loosen. Let your breathing slow. There is nothing you need to solve right now, nothing you need to carry forward into the night. For a little while, we are only walking, slowly, quietly, through one of the most remembered places in ancient Rome, the Roman Forum. In the daytime, long ago, this place would have been filled with movement, people crossing the open space, voices rising and fading, merchants, officials, worshippers, travelers, citizens, and strangers, all passing through the heart of the city. But tonight, we are not visiting the Forum in daylight. We are visiting it after the noise has faded. The sky is deep blue. The stones are cool beneath the night air. A few oil lamps glow softly near the edges of the path. The moon rests above the old hills, and the Forum waits in silence. Not empty exactly, because ancient places are never truly empty. They hold memory. They hold footsteps. They hold the shape of all the lives that passed through them. But tonight, those memories are quiet. They do not ask anything from us. They simply rest. So imagine now that you are standing at the edge of the old city. The evening has settled. The air is gentle. The road ahead is made of worn stone. And somewhere before you, between the Palatine Hill and the Capitoline Hill, the Roman Forum opens slowly beneath the stars. We will not hurry. We will not try to see everything. We will only walk, one step at a time, into the soft darkness of ancient Rome. The Roman Forum was once the heart of the ancient city, a place where Rome gathered itself, a place of temples, roads, public buildings, ceremonies, conversations, and memory. But before we think of all the history that passed through it, let us first imagine the shape of the place, a low valley held between hills, stone paths crossing open ground, columns standing against the sky, steps rising toward temples, walls touched by time, and above it all, the quiet night. To one side, the Palatine Hill rises in shadow. This hill was connected with Rome's earliest legends and with the memory of the city's beginnings. To another side, the Capitoline Hill stands watchfully, a place that would become important in Roman religion and public life. Between them, the Forum rests, not as a museum, not as a ruin, but as a living memory. Tonight, we enter it slowly. The first stones underfoot are uneven in places. They have been worn by time, by weather, by sandals, by carts, by generations of people who crossed this space without knowing that one day it would become ancient. Each step feels quiet. The sound is small, a soft touch against stone. The open space ahead is dim and blue beneath the night sky. A column catches a little moonlight. A broken edge of marble glows pale in the distance. Somewhere nearby, an oil lamp flickers in a shallow bowl. Its flame moves gently, as though breathing with the night. The Forum was not only one thing. It was not only a marketplace, not only a religious space, not only a political center. It was all of these things layered together. A place where the practical life of the city met the sacred life of the city. A place where people came to speak, trade, worship, argue, listen, wait, and remember. But for our walk tonight, we do not need to hold all of that at once. We can let the history stay soft. We can let the details come slowly. For now, it is enough to know that we are walking into a place that mattered deeply to Rome. A place where the city spoke to itself. A place where stone, ritual, law, memory, and daily life met under the open sky. The road leads us forward. On either side, the shapes of ancient buildings rise and fall in shadow. Some are only outlines, some are columns, some are steps, some are fragments of walls that once belonged to larger spaces. At night, they feel less like monuments and more like resting shapes in the dark. Still, patient, quiet. The sky above the Forum is wide. Stars appear between slow-moving clouds. The moonlight rests on the pale stone. The air is cooler now, and as we move further in, the city feels far away, even though we are standing in its old center. This is one of the peaceful things about ancient places at night. They seem to step outside of time. The Forum by day belonged to the city, but the Forum by night belongs to memory. It belongs to the soft sound of the wind, to the shadows between columns, to the faint glow of lamps, to the old road beneath our feet, and to anyone willing to walk slowly enough to listen. So we continue. The path ahead begins to guide us deeper, toward one of the most remembered roads in ancient Rome, the sacred way, the Via Sacra. For now, we pause at the edge of it. The stones stretch forward into the dark. The Forum opens quietly around us, and the night invites us to keep walking. Ahead of us, the path becomes the sacred way, the Via Sacra, a road remembered in the long story of Rome. By day, it would have carried movement, footsteps, ceremonies, small groups of people walking toward temples, arches, public spaces, and old meeting places. But tonight, the sacred way is quiet. The stones do not hurry us. They simply lead forward, one step, then another. The road curves gently through the Forum, passing between places that once held the attention of the city. To walk here, even in imagination, is to move through layers of time. Beneath our feet are stones worn smooth by use. Around us are columns touched by moonlight. Above us, the sky is deep and calm. The sacred way was not only a road, it was a path through Roman memory, a way through the old center of the city, a place where the practical, the sacred, and the ceremonial could meet. But for now, we do not need to think of it as busy. We can think of it as still. A pale road under the night sky, a path between sleeping stones, a quiet line through the heart of Rome. As we walk, the Forum opens and closes around us. A column appears in the distance, then slips behind us. A set of steps rises gently to one side. A broken wall catches the edge of the moon. The old stones seem almost silver in the darkness. Every few moments, a small lamp glows near the path. Its light is warm and low, not enough to chase away the night, only enough to soften it. There is something peaceful about walking through a place that has carried so many lives. The road does not belong to one person. It belongs to many, to citizens who crossed it in daylight, to travelers seeing Rome for the first time, to families moving through the city, to officials on their way to public duties, to worshipers approaching temples, to people whose names are now lost, but whose footsteps once touched the same stones. And tonight, all of that movement has become quiet. The voices have faded. The crowds have gone. The road remains. This is one of the gifts of old places. They let us feel the size of time without needing to explain it all. A road can hold memory without speaking. A stone can be simple and ordinary and still be part of something vast. A column can stand in silence and still remind us that many centuries have passed. So we continue along the sacred way slowly. There is no destination we need to reach quickly. The path itself is enough. To our left, the darkness gathers around the shapes of old buildings. To our right, the open space of the forum rests beneath the stars. The air is cool, the night is gentle, and the road carries us forward. In daylight, this road might have felt important, formal, public, connected to the life of the city. But at night, it feels different. It feels almost private, as if Rome has lowered its voice, as if the old city is allowing us to pass quietly through its memory. We walk past places where people once stood waiting, where conversations once rose into the air, where footsteps crossed over footsteps day after day, year after year, until the road itself became part of the city's rhythm. Now there is only the soft, imagined sound of our own pace, a slow step, a pause, another step. The sacred way leads us deeper into the forum, not with force, not with drama, but gently, like a thread pulled through the ancient city. And as we follow it, the night begins to reveal the shapes ahead. Tall columns, quiet steps, old temples resting under the moon. One of these places waits in the shadows. The Temple of Saturn. For now, it is only a shape in the distance, a row of columns, pale against the dark, a memory of stone and sacred time. We do not need to reach it all at once. We can let it come slowly. The road continues. The lamps flicker softly. The forum breathes in silence. The sacred way carries us onward through the sleeping heart of Rome. As we continue along the sacred way, the forum opens quietly around us. Ahead, in the soft darkness, a line of columns begins to take shape. Tall, pale, still. They rise against the night sky, touched by moonlight and shadow. This is the place where we imagine the Temple of Saturn, one of the old sacred landmarks of the Roman Forum. Tonight, we do not approach it as tourists. We do not hurry toward it with facts and dates. We simply let it appear, slowly, like something remembered from a dream. The columns stand in a row, their stone surfaces cool beneath the night air. At their base, the ground is uneven in places. The steps are worn, like the edges of the marble are softened by time. A lamp flickers somewhere nearby, casting a warm gold light across the lower stones. Above, the moon gives the columns a silver edge. The Temple of Saturn was connected to one of Rome's ancient gods. Saturn was an old figure in Roman tradition, associated with age, memory, agriculture, and a golden time imagined far back in the past. But for tonight, we do not need to follow every thread of the god's story. It is enough to stand quietly near the temple and feel what such a place meant. A temple was not only a building, it was a point of attention, a place where the city looked upward, a place where ritual, memory, and public life came together. In the daytime, this part of the forum may have held movement and voices, people passing near the steps, officials crossing the open space, citizens gathering nearby, the life of the city flowing around the sacred stone. But now, in the quiet of our walk, all of that is softened. The columns remain, the steps remain, The night remains. The Temple of Saturn feels less like a monument and more like a pause in the city, a place where time slows down, a place where the old world becomes still enough to notice. We can imagine standing at the foot of the columns, looking upward, letting the height of the stone draw our gaze toward the stars. The air is cool here. The sound of the city is far away. The lamps burn low. The forum rests around us like a sleeping landscape of marble and shadow. There is something calming about old columns at night. They do not explain themselves. They do not ask to be understood all at once. They simply stand, holding up the darkness, holding up memory, holding up the feeling that many lives have passed through this place before us. A column is simple when seen from far away, a vertical line of stone, but up close, it becomes more. There are marks in the surface, small changes in color, soft cracks, edges touched by weather, places where shadow gathers, places where moonlight rests. In these details, the ancient world feels less distant, not loud, not grand in the way we sometimes imagine Rome, but quiet, textured, human. The Temple of Saturn also reminds us that the Forum was never only practical. It was not just a place for speaking, trading, or passing through. It was a place where the sacred stood close to the ordinary. A person might walk across the Forum on a simple errand and pass beside temples, statues, arches, and old public spaces. Daily life and ancient ritual existed near one another. Stone beside stone, path beside path, memory beside movement. Tonight, all of that becomes gentle. The old public life is only a whisper. The ritual is only a glow. The temple is only a quiet shape beneath the moon. And we can let it be enough. There is no need to know everything. No need to remember every name. No need to hold the whole history of Rome in the mind. We are only walking, only resting, only letting the Forum open slowly around us. A soft wind moves through the space between the columns. The lamp flame stirs. The moonlight shifts across the stone. The sacred way waits behind us. And ahead, deeper in the Forum, another sacred place begins to call our attention. Smaller, rounder, more intimate. A place connected not with tall columns reaching into the night, but with the quiet keeping of a flame. The Temple of Vesta. For now, we leave Saturn's columns resting in the dark. We step away slowly. The stone road receives us again. And the Forum continues to unfold beneath the patient Roman sky. We continue through the Forum slowly. The tall columns of Saturn rest behind us now. The sacred way remains nearby, curving gently through the old heart of the city. And ahead, the mood begins to change. The space feels smaller, softer, more inward. Here, in the quiet of the Forum, we imagine the Temple of Vesta. Unlike the long rows of columns we have already passed, this place feels more intimate. A round, sacred space, a gentle circle of stone, a place remembered for flame, stillness, and care. In Roman tradition, Vesta was connected with the hearth, the fire of the home, the center of warmth, the quiet light that gathered people together. And in the Forum, her temple held one of the most important sacred flames of Rome. Tonight, we do not need to enter the temple. We do not need to explain every ritual. We can simply stand nearby, quietly, respectfully, and imagine the glow. A small flame burning in the dark, not bright enough to overwhelm the night, not loud, not dramatic, only steady, a point of warmth in the ancient city. The stone around the temple is pale beneath the moon. The curved shape of the building feels different from the straight roads and tall columns nearby. It softens the space. It makes the Forum feel less like a public square and more like a resting place, a place where the city kept something precious. The idea of a sacred flame is gentle enough for the night, a flame watched carefully, a flame protected from the wind, a flame that meant continuity, home, memory, the city still breathing. We can imagine the light moving softly across the stone, gold against marble, warmth against blue shadow, a small glow in the wide darkness of Rome. The Vestal virgins were connected with this sacred place. They were priestesses of Vesta, and their role was important in Roman religious life. But tonight, we keep the focus simple. The temple, the flame, the quiet care of keeping light alive. The Forum around us is still. The great public spaces have grown dark. The paths are empty. The old voices have faded. But here, near the Temple of Vesta, the idea of the hearth remains, and that image feels peaceful. Because every ancient city, no matter how large, still depended on small forms of care. A lamp being lit, a doorway being closed, a bowl of water placed nearby, a fire watched through the night, a home kept warm, a story remembered. The Roman Forum could be a place of public life, ceremony, law, and speech. But near Vesta, it also becomes a place of quiet attention. Not everything ancient was loud. Not everything powerful was grand. Some things mattered because they were steady, because they were kept, because they continued. The small flame reminds us of that. It does not need to rise high. It does not need to fill the whole sky. It only needs to remain. As we stand in the soft darkness, we can imagine the flame breathing gently inside the sacred space. The night air moves. The moonlight rests on the stones. The shadows gather near the columns, and the warm glow of Vesta's temple seems to hold its place in the center of the quiet. This is one of the most restful images of the Forum. A city asleep, a sacred fire still burning, a road resting beneath the stars, a temple curved like a calm thought, and somewhere beyond the Forum, the rest of Rome fades into night. We can pause here for a moment. Let the stillness settle. Let the flame remain small and steady in the imagination. Let the old city become quiet around it. There is no need to move quickly, no need to name every building, no need to understand every custom. For now, the image is enough. A circle of stone, a guarded light, a quiet Roman night. And after a while, when the moment feels complete, we begin to walk again. The Temple of Vesta remains behind us, softly lit in memory. The Forum opens once more. The moon is higher now. The path ahead is pale. And as we continue, we begin to imagine the Forum not only as it rests tonight, but as it might have felt in the living hours of the day. As we walk on, the Forum remains quiet around us. The Temple of Vesta rests behind us now. The memory of its small flame stays with us for a little while. A warm point of light in the darkness, a quiet center in the old city. But as the path opens again, we can begin to imagine the Forum in another way, not only as it is tonight, silent, moonlit, still, but as it might have felt during the bright hours of the day. Long ago, when the sun was high over Rome, this space would not have been so quiet. The Forum was a place of movement, a place where people passed through the city's daily life, a place where voices rose into the air. Not all at once in a way we need to hear tonight, only softly, like memory. We can imagine footsteps on stone, sandals moving across the open ground, a merchant arranging goods in the morning light, a citizen pausing near a shaded column, a group of people speaking quietly near the steps of a public building. Someone carrying a message, someone waiting, someone looking up toward a temple, someone crossing the sacred way on the way to another part of the city. The Forum belonged to many kinds of life: public life, religious life, daily life, ceremonial life. The ordinary and the important existed close together here. A person might come to the Forum with a simple task and still pass beside temples, columns, statues, arches, and buildings that carried the weight of Rome's memory. That is one of the remarkable things about ancient spaces. The great and the ordinary are often side by side. A road is just a road until it becomes the road where generations have walked. A stone is just a stone until it has held the steps of a city. A square is just open ground until it becomes the place where people gather, speak, wait, remember, and return. In the daytime, the Forum may have felt layered with sound: low voices, footsteps, the movement of fabric, the distant creak of wheels, the calling of names, the quiet rhythm of people entering and leaving. But tonight, we hear none of it directly. We only feel the memory of it, as if the old sounds have become part of the stone, as if the air still holds a trace of all that passed through. And because we are here at night, the memories feel gentle. The sunlight is gone. The crowds are gone. The heat of the day has faded. The open spaces have cooled. The steps are empty. The temples are still. The columns stand in the dark. And the Forum, once so full of life, becomes peaceful again. It is not difficult to imagine the change from day to night. In the morning, light would spill across the stones. The hills would brighten. The shadows would shorten. People would begin to arrive from different streets and paths. The Forum would slowly wake. By midday, it might feel busy and alive, a place where Rome could see itself, where the city's concerns, customs, rituals, and routines gathered in one space. Then, as the sun lowered, the light would soften. The sky would turn gold. The marble would take on the colors of evening. Footsteps would become fewer. Voices would drift away. One by one, lamps would begin to glow. And eventually, night would return the Forum to silence. That is where we are now, in the afterglow of all that life, standing in the quiet version of a place that once carried so much movement. There is something calming in that thought. The day has ended. The duties are finished. The conversations have faded. The road no longer asks to be crossed. The buildings no longer ask to be entered. The city has lowered its voice, and the Forum rests. We can walk through it now without hurry, past the memory of daylight, past the memory of crowds, past the places where people once stood beneath the open sky. The stones beneath us are cool. The air is blue and silver. The lamps are small and warm. And the old public heart of Rome has become almost private. A place for quiet listening. A place for slow steps. A place for letting history become soft. This is the feeling we can carry with us tonight. That even the busiest places can become still. Even the loudest spaces can fall quiet. Even a city like Rome, remembered for its roads, laws, buildings, voices, and power, could have moments of rest. Moonlight on stone, a lamp near a doorway, a road without footsteps, a temple without sound, a square beneath the stars. And as we continue walking, the Forum seems to become less like a place of events and more like a place of memory. The day is only a whisper now. The night is near. The stones are patient, and the old city rests around us. As the Forum grows quieter around us, we begin to notice the stones themselves. Not only the temples, not only the columns, Not only the roads and open spaces, but the stones, the old surfaces beneath our feet, the steps worn at their edges, the fragments of walls touched by moonlight, the pale marble resting in shadow. Ancient places often speak most softly through what remains. A column standing alone, a broken step, a stone path crossing open ground, a wall that no longer holds a roof. These things do not tell the whole story, but they hold enough. Enough to remind us that people were here. Enough to remind us that days began and ended here. Enough to remind us that even the largest histories are made from smaller moments. A person walking home, a lamp being carried, a hand resting on stone, a voice fading into evening air, a shadow moving across a column, a road waiting for morning. The Roman Forum was once full of purpose, but tonight it is full of memory. The stones do not rush to explain themselves, they simply remain. This is part of what makes ruins feel peaceful. They are no longer trying to become anything. They have already been walls. They have already been temples. They have already been steps, roads, edges, and doorways. Now they rest. And in their resting, they give us permission to rest too. We can imagine sitting for a moment near one of the old stone edges, not too close to anything grand, just near a quiet place where the moonlight reaches the ground. The air is cool, the lamps are distant. The forum opens around us like a dream remembered slowly. Behind us, the sacred way has grown dim. Somewhere nearby, the Temple of Vesta holds the memory of a small flame. Farther away, the columns of Saturn stand calmly against the dark. The hills rise around the valley. The Palatine, the Capitoline, the old shapes of Rome beneath the sky. Everything feels still, but not empty. The stillness is full of time, full of silence, full of all the life that once moved here, softened now into memory. There is no need to turn that memory into noise, no need to make it dramatic, no need to chase every name, every date, every event. Sometimes history can be held more gently than that. Sometimes it can be enough to picture a road, a column, a lamp, a quiet square, a city at rest. The Forum reminds us that even places made for public life have private moments. Moments when the voices are gone, when the footsteps have faded, when the stones cool under the night air, when the moon rests on the old marble, and the ancient world becomes quiet enough to breathe. As we walk, we pass places that once meant many things to many people. A place to gather, a place to speak, a place to worship, a place to wait, a place to be seen, a place to belong to the city. But tonight, the Forum belongs to the night. It belongs to the small glow of lamps, to the soft blue air, to the ancient road, to the patient stones, and to the listener who moves slowly through it in imagination. The old city does not need us to understand everything. It only asks us to walk gently, to notice what remains, to let the stones be stones, to let the night be night, to let Rome become quiet. There is comfort in that. The past can feel large, sometimes too large to hold. But here in the sleeping Forum, it becomes simple again. A path forward, a column beside the moon, a step worn smooth, a warm light in the distance, a breath, a pause, another step. And slowly the Forum begins to feel less like a place we are studying and more like a place we are passing through before sleep. The stones hold their memories. The night holds its silence. The city holds its old stories. And we continue walking softly toward the edge of the Forum, where the path will soon lead us away. And now, the path begins to lead us away from the Forum. Slowly, gently, without hurry. Behind us, the old stones remain beneath the moon. The temple of Saturn rests in shadow. The temple of Vesta holds the memory of its quiet flame. The sacred way stretches softly through the darkness. In the Roman Forum, once the public heart of the ancient city, becomes still again. We have walked through it gently tonight, not as visitors trying to see everything, not as students trying to remember every name, but as quiet listeners, moving through stone, moonlight, silence, and memory. The night air is cool, the lamps burn low, columns stand quietly behind us. Step by step, the forum begins to fade into the distance. The open square grows softer. The shapes of temples become outlines. The road beneath our feet feels calmer now, as though the city itself is settling. Somewhere above the forum, the Palatine Hill rests in darkness. Somewhere beyond the old streets, the Tiber continues its slow movement through Rome. The river does not rush. The hills do not hurry. The stones do not ask to be remembered all at once. They simply remain. And perhaps that is enough for tonight. A road, a column, a lamp, a quiet temple, a square beneath the stars. The ancient world does not need to be loud to be meaningful. Sometimes it is most powerful when it becomes still, when the voices fade, when the footsteps disappear, when history rests softly in the dark. And so, as we leave the forum behind, you can let the images drift with you. The moon over marble, the sacred way beneath the stars, the small imagined flame of Vesta, the columns of Saturn pale in the night, the open space of Rome, quiet after the day. You do not need to hold every detail. You do not need to remember every name. Let the forum become soft around the edges. Let the stones settle into silence. Let the old city fade gently into sleep. The road carries us onward. The lamps grow distant. The air becomes still. And behind us, the Roman Forum rests beneath the patient sky. A place of memory, a place of stone, a place where the ancient city once gathered. And tonight, a place of peace. So rest now. Let the night be quiet. Let the old road disappear into darkness, and let ancient Rome wait softly for another story. The forum rests beneath the patient stars. The lamps grow dim. The stones grow still. Sleep well. Sleep tight. And we will return to the ancient world again soon.